She calls on you to greet her, combing her dripping crown, and if you go to meet her, she ups and drags you down. The Peak District is home to 3 mermaids, and 2 of them live here in the South West Peak. High on Morridge in the Staffordshire moorlands is Blake Mere, sometimes called Black Mere. It is one of the homes of the mermaids. The road past it is the site of an ancient drove road, and a couple of 100 yards along there is an inn, a hostelry called the Mermaid Inn. And that little rhyme about the Blake Mere mermaid was on the wall of that inn while it was open. It's said to the young man who goes to meet the mermaid on Easter Eve, good luck will come to him, but he will be tempted to throw himself into the water and be with her forever. A lot of young men have disappeared here. One young man who disappeared near here in the 18th century occasionally reappears after dark, calling for help. Many years ago, a man called Joshua Linnett, a vengeful young man, fell in love with a woman who rejected him. And because he was vengeful and she'd rejected him, he denounced her as a witch. Because she'd been denounced as a witch, she was thrown into the water of Blake Mere to drown. And as she drowned, she cursed Joshua Linnett. 3 days later, Joshua's body was found on the bank of Blake Mere. Some people say that the mermaid is really the ghost of the unfortunate young woman. One story that is probably historical concerns Joe Buxton, who was drinking with his friends in Leek in the Cock Inn, and they fell to talking about Blake Mere and the mermaid. Because Joe had had a few drinks, he said, "Oh no, I don't mind that. I know it's after dark and it's a wild winter night, but I will walk to Blake Mere and I will confront Blake Mere and mermaid or no mermaid." Well, his friends were a little sceptical about this and said, "Yes, well, you can always claim to have been there." He said, "Well, no, I can prove it. I will leave my walking stick there by the bank of the mere." The bet was accepted and he set off, and indeed he walked right up here from Leek to Blake Mere. He was confident that he wouldn't meet anybody because the weather was awful. It was a wild winter night and it was blowing and it was wet. And he certainly was not afraid of meeting any mermaid. But to his astonishment and startlement, I might say, as he approached the water, he saw 2 people struggling, clearly one male, one female, right by the edge of the water. Having had a few drinks, of course, he decided that he could go and intervene, and he did. He charged forward saying, "What's going on?" Whereupon the man dropped the woman he was wrestling with and ran away. Joshua went forward, carefully leaving his walking stick, and took hold of the woman, who was in a terrified state. He took her to the Mermaid Inn so she could be looked after and she could tell her story. It seemed that the man she'd been wrestling with was the father of her unborn child, who thought he could duck his responsibility by drowning her in Blake Mere. The authorities were alerted, the miscreant was identified and punished, and I'm happy to say that the young lady recovered. And of course, Joe Buxton won his bet.